Welcome to Functionally Speaking, the podcast where two clinicians share one brain cell and way too many opinions.
I'm Laura, your mineral-obsessed dietitian who gets fired up about gut health, metabolism, and fertility, with enough sass to keep it interesting and enough nuance to keep it real.
And I'm Danielle, a physician assistant obsessed with gut health, hormones, and calling out bullshit.
We're here for the nuance, the hot takes, the facts your certification skipped over, and the occasional spiral into chaos.
If you're a health coach, practitioner, or clinician who's slightly functional, just like our mitochondria in our recording process, you're in the right place.
We're not here to sugarcoat the science or pretend there's one right way to do this work. We're doing it our way, unfiltered, slightly feral, and always with love for the humans we serve. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Functionally Speaking with me and Laura and my 1 liter bottle of Topo Chico. So ridiculous.
Normal day in the life.
Oh, welcome back to Functionally Speaking, the clinical pod that spirals responsibly, brought to you by Unconventional Collaborative, which is powered by the two humans before you. Hi, it's us.
And they're one brain cell.
And yes, oh my God, Marcus asked me something the other day, and he was like, I don't know, something about you. And he was like, whatever he said, I said back to him, I don't know if Laura got that message through the bond.
Honestly, I'm not sure I'm getting anything through my brain right now, so it's fine.
Your brain or the bond?
Yes.
And honestly, can we just, before we dive into today's topic, which I'm really excited about because I think this is really needed for the business owners out there, can we talk about the amazing setup that we have for 2026 in the collaborative?
Yes. If you're not a member, you should be.
What are you doing?
Like, we have an insane amount of speakers, and just the quality of speakers and the topics themselves are just good. Like, I can't wait to learn.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. And we are both going to be doing calls again this year as well on thyroid health, SIBO, blood work, and blood sugar.
Blood sugar.
That was the other one that we said. So those are the 4 talks that you guys are getting from us right now. So 4 talks from us. I think we have 14 guest speakers scheduled. 4 plus 18. But I am that reel of people like showing their husbands the phone with like the really easy math problems that
Yes.
it is me.
That's not me.
And
I can do easy math. 1
call every month, group mentorship, collab and connect calls. So 18 and 12. Well, you're getting 30 calls a year with us. That's insane. And not to mention,
you spend so much time with us.
Not to mention all of the stuffs inside of Mighty Networks, which is the platform we use to host the actual group forum, which is so great. And the guides and protocols and other members and things. So if you're not a member yet, click on the show notes, get in, because 2026 is going to be really, really, really great. So what are we talking about today?
The 5 tools you need to be using in your health and wellness business. And I would even argue, if you're someone who's not like full-time, if this is just like a side gig, also helpful, because a lot of side gigs either stay side gigs or can stay or become full-time. And what you're doing or what you use, what tools you use, can also allow you to work smarter, not harder, and see more people and make more money, which you want to help people, but you also need to help your family and pay for the bills and all the foods.
And all the things that you want to do. I say that's like the main thing, that like I just want to be able to pay for the things I want to pay for and travel and give my dogs the life that they deserve, really. That's what it's all about. So first thing that we said here is practice better.
That's a drum roll.
Practice better.
For those who can't hear that.
Which is the electronic health record that Laura and I both use, and then we have some tools inside of that. I'm curious what the things are that you like about Practice Better that made you choose that over other platforms, specifically for what you use it for, because I know I did a tour of like Jane and some other things, and I felt that Practice Better was the best fit for the type of work that we do.
I mean, it's been so long, I don't even know, but I was using like Google Docs before, so I loved that it was HIPAA compliant. I loved that there was a way to message. I loved that you could create courses, which are clunky, but like a way to keep everything inside. One of the functions that both of us use, I don't know how I would survive without it, is the shortcuts and snippets. So like when I'm going to make recommendations for clients, you just hit to write, I don't know what those are called, parentheses.
What are those things
There's a
called?
name for them. I don't know. They're called something. The brackets,
Yeah,
but like,
the
I don't know.
little
There's a name for them and I have no idea what they are. But you literally put like parentheses, and then like I put like P and my potassium rich foods come up, or like I put F and I get fiber rich foods and like all the things. And there's so many. So that saves you an insane amount of time. I love that you could put forms in there so that like everything is just like in one spot, both for you, because you'll drive yourself crazy looking for things, and for your clients so that they know that like this is where I go when I'm working with Laura, when I'm working with Danielle. Like that's where everything is hosted. So they get notes, they get forms, they get any communication that we're working on with them. They can schedule, they can pay. Like there's just it's like a
It's
all in one.
everything for sure.
Yeah.
I co-sign completely. And if you are a practitioner and you are using Practice Better, I know we've had a lot of people in the collaborative who we have shown shortcuts and snippets to, and they have just said, I had no idea this was here. And I have no idea how you were functioning without it. So definitely, if you have Practice Better or if you're using a different tool, look for that type of tool that's available there for you, because I mean, the length of things that I have in there is it's absolutely insane. I would be spending 3 to 4 times as much time creating my notes and things if it was not for those shortcuts. And the other thing is, I think important to say, is the user experience is really good. If you've never done this, create a dummy account with a different email for yourself so you can log in and see what your client's experience is like, if you are using Practice Better, if you're not, because even though I have a business manager, sometimes people ask me questions and it's really easy then for me to be like, oh, I know exactly where that button is that you need to look for to upload this form. It's really, really user friendly, but people do not like a shit user experience. I have had people who have come to me from other practitioners who were using Google Workspace, and they just said to me, Danielle, I cannot I do not want to print out a form and scan it back to somebody. It's 2020 whatever. And so yeah, I think that this is just a no-brainer. I think they just raised their prices. For me, it's $99 a month. My business manager is on there, so she's an admin, so you can add people who are doing like behind the scene things for you. This is a no-brainer for me. And then just I think this piggybacks. This is one of the big things that I wanted to talk about was the MSQ, which is a form medical symptom questionnaire that Laura and I both use regularly in our practice. So, Laura, do you want to talk a little bit about what this is, and then we can talk about how we use it?
Yeah, it's basically a way to quantify symptoms. It's a form where they have to rank from 1 to 5, whether it's frequent or severe or impacting their life or not. And we're looking at head to toe symptoms. So headaches to vision to eyes to nose to ears, mouth, head, shoulders, knees and toes, like literally any symptom that they could be having, which honestly, I have found so helpful because we both work with women, and I feel like women are so, first off, they're dismissed. So they're used to being like, oh, that's no big deal. And then I also think they dismiss their own symptoms. So they'll feel that a lot of times, be like, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad this had gotten. And like above 50 is like, I believe, like moderate to severe. Like I just had one today that was 191, and I was like, whoa, girl, we got some work to do. But it's really nice to have, because then you can see over time. Like we both gripe about people who come to us and say they're not coming for weight loss, and then they complain when they're not losing weight, when we're more in the business of helping them get healthy. And sometimes weight loss is a part of it, sometimes it's not. And we can then pull up this more quantitative evaluation that it's self-reported, but we can say, okay, well, you started at 191 and now you're down to a 50. So weight hasn't budged, but health has moved drastically. And to me, it's an easy, objective way to help them understand that your health is improving. And I think it helps me understand that like they're not reporting headaches, but they keep putting headaches in their MSQ, but they're just so used to it because they've lived with headaches their whole time. So it also helps me better gauge of like, okay, we improved digestion, right? Like we improved sleep, we improved whatever, but headaches keep popping up at a 4 out of 5. So like it's a really good way for you to double check, because sometimes people are horrible historians, and sometimes they just like, they don't tell you what you don't know to dig out of them. And that's a really good way to do that.
Yeah, I love this tool. I actually use it on my consult or discovery calls as well. I have people fill it out before they see me. So I have them tell me their story, and then I will also talk to them about, hey, I had you fill out this form and this is what you talked to me about. And I also have a little key at the bottom that says things are going great. Check engine light is on, so then when they see that their MSQ is a 125, which I would say most of my people are between about a 125 and a 130, or I'm sorry, a 75 and like a 130 when they start. I certainly have outliers. I've had the 190s. I don't think I've had anybody into the 200s. I want to say 190s was probably the highest I've had. It helps sell too, because then people see, oh my God, like they don't think that they're doing that bad. But then when they see it quantified in this measurable way, it really speaks to them of like, wow, I actually do need help, right? And I have also added recently some questions at the bottom of this MSQ for people like, hey, like what's going well? What's not going well? What do you want to talk about at our upcoming visit? So then I'm not only tracking their MSQ, but I'm tracking the things that they're saying to me as well. And it's helping me organize the visit as well. Like because you told me these are the things that you want to talk about, right? Because sometimes you get those people that are just talkers and it's really hard to reroute them. And this is a no-brainer for me. And yeah, I mean, my business manager makes sure that everybody, she's like Hitler going after people to make sure these things are filled out, because I'm like, I need this data, right? So if you're not using that tool, definitely that's a big one. Next up, email marketing, like ConvertKit, whatever it is now, Kajabi. There's a ton of them out there, Flowdesk. This is super, super important because, I mean, social media will do social media things and the algorithm will do algorithm things. I feel like this is a really good way to connect with people on a little bit of a deeper level. And also, I would say make sure they're seeing your content, but like not everybody opens it. Sometimes it gets delivered to spam. So I'm curious if you have like specific reasons why you like email marketing.
I mean, it's just a way to connect with your people, right? Like people who are going to stay on your email list are more likely to convert than people on your social media. Not to say social media people won't, but I just think it's a good way, and you just never know when social media is going away. So having some way to message people is worth it.
Yeah, I would also say getting people on your email list, which maybe this can be a whole other episode that we talk about. I know we've talked about this a lot in the collaborative. Please do not, I mean, maybe you could, but I personally feel as though saying to people, get on my email list, no one is signing up. Incentivizing people with a freebie or like, I know for me personally, people are nosy. And when I talk about personal stuff in my emails, like, hey, I'm going to talk about my palette expander journey, I get 5, 10, 15 requests for the link, like reply T for the information. And I end up getting more people on my email list that way. So not that that's what this is about, but I just think we are long past the days where you can say, stay in touch and get on my email list. I personally don't think that's doing it anymore for most people. Maybe if you're like James Clear or somebody, really, really big. But I feel like for a lot of smaller business people, it's just not enough anymore.
So we've got practice better or some form of that. Email marketing. Number 3.
This is more social media creation type stuff. So Canva and then a social planner, which these things are newer. I feel like not everybody uses these, but I personally don't understand why. I really personally like to batch my content. If you're making static posts and you're creating content in Canva, which it's basically a graphic designer app. When you see people's created content, that's usually where they're doing it. Is there like a good competitor to Canva?
There used to be PicMonkey, but that didn't take off. Yeah. Honestly, these have been around for a really long time. I think it just is preference. Like I don't love Planoly. There was another one too. That's not how my brain works, but I use Canva for a lot of different things in my business. So if I'm creating handouts or I'm creating carousels, or if I need some branding stuff for events or for flyers or anything like that, it's an easy way to keep your branding consistent because you can also input both your fonts and your brand colors, which I really like because I don't want to have to keep searching for them.
Yeah.
Obviously for social media as well. But I think some social media support is necessary for if you're going to have a social media presence, which honestly, I don't know if we've done an episode on this, but we probably could. Like, I think some people say like, what's the point, right? I have no followers. But the point is that if someone is referred to you, they then are going to look you up. They're going to investigate who are you. And so having a website, having a social media is a great option because now it might not have a ton of info on it, but even if they have a couple things like who is this person, what do they stand for, what are they known for, or what do they specialize in, can all be helpful. So having the right tool set up can be helpful to make your life a little bit easier when it comes to social media.
I mean, even if you're brick and mortar, I think that having a basic social
I
media
agree.
page, a good set of pin posts, a nice little bio, so people know who you are, what you do, who you help, what your services are, I think, and credentials too. I know that you and I are both kind of like beat the dead horse on this, but I really like to see when I go to someone's page, what are your credentials? I know not everyone
Yeah, like who are
cares,
you?
but that is important, and I think
No, that's a whole nother topic.
we could also do a podcast on the grifters because it is real. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I personally like Planoly. I tried out about a dozen other social media planners and I couldn't figure it out. And if I can't figure out something techie within 5 minutes, at least the basics. I know some tech stuff might take a little bit longer to figure it out. I don't want to use it. And so that has been, if you want to use a social media planner, that has been the best one that I have found. And like I said, I tried out probably a dozen. I like to batch my content. I will sit down in a day and I will batch out content for a month, 2 months at a time. I've done more. I've done like a whole quarter at a time because I just want it done and out of the way, and I'll just add reels in here and there. So those are definitely helpful tools. And then for number 4, we have things like ChatGPT.
How to use, so I think ChatGPT or any type of AI support. And I think what I really caution practitioners about is not using it for protocols, because it can say some funky things that have nothing to do with your client. But it's so great when you've already brainstormed, when you've already like come up with topic ideas or client handouts, and you just need someone to like formulate it for you or help put it into a good outline and be able to support things for your clients, like client handouts, emails, even like SOPs for your business. Like there's so many ways you can use it within your practice. And certainly you can help brainstorm like client protocol stuff, but I do not rely on it for protocols, because I've seen some things that I'm like, that is just straight up wrong. So obviously have a very heavy hand when you're using that, but I think there's so many valuable ways to utilize it in your business and help you streamline what you're doing. And it's almost like having a free or very
Low cost
inexpensive
assistant.
like assistant.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I use it very heavily for captions and emails. I personally, a lot of the times I'll write it out first, or at least like a couple of sentences, because otherwise I feel like it comes out not sounding like me and a little clunky. But I really like it for those things. I will ask it like things about protocols or even like clinical type questions and see, just to see what it comes back with sometimes. Sometimes it's way off, and sometimes I'm like I didn't think about that, and that kind of like, maybe these are some questions that I should be asking the client, right? So I do think there is a time and a place, but again, you got to be really careful with that. And I would not, like I said, I would be, if you are going to do that, like screening and really using your brain before before you're using the computers, right? And then I was going to say, I'm doing a couple of like in-person events in 2026 and setting up booths and things. And I do have like some stuff here, but that is one thing I was going to use ChatGPT for. And like my boyfriend has a lot of experience with that stuff, but just like, hey, how should I set this up? What things should I have there? What's a good giveaway? And things like that. So there are just so many ways to use AI, but you also have to know how to prompt it, because it will be very agreeable with you. So like I oftentimes will say, prompt it without like additional information or like background info, or say, this is what I think, give me the pros and the cons, or tell me what sucks about this, or like with my posts and emails and stuff, like what sucks and how can I make this better type of thing. So if you don't prompt it correctly, you're just going to get a bunch of agreeability.
Correct. It'll just tell you exactly what you want to hear. And then you're like, that's not actually what I need. So, yeah, it's very important knowing how to talk to AI. And also, like, I always make sure, even though it knows I'm a dietitian, because I've said it 100 times, I always say, like, from the perspective of a dietitian, like, who owns a business. And I, like, usually give a background again and again just to make sure.
All right. And number 5.
Well, this is very biased, but having a community like the Unconventional Collaborative, because when you own your own business, you're going to have a bajillion questions and you're going to need people to lean on and support. It's so easy to feel like you're in a silo when you're owning your own business and feeling like I'm the only person who does this or thinks this, or I'm failing because I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. And having community, obviously, if it's not UC, that's fine, Unconventional Collaborative, but we would prefer,
Yeah, I mean,
because
you're
we are so
here.
biased with how much, yeah, but like we're so biased. But I think it like getting out of your silo and talking to other people who are in it with you or who are doing it before you is so valuable. Like I literally always think back to when I quit my job. I still had to do 3 weeks, but when I was done the 3 weeks, I remember my husband, then boyfriend, left the house and I was like sitting on the floor. And when he came back 8 hours later, I hadn't moved. And he was like, "Have you fed yourself? Have you hydrated today? Have you left the house?" And I'm like,
No.
"No, because I can't figure this out." And I just remember it was so much harder 10 years ago to feel like who to talk to. And that's part of why this was
Yeah.
born, because we just were like, we struggle with the same things. We're texting about it. There has to be plenty of other people who are also struggling, or like sometimes it's not even struggling, it's validation.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do this. Does this make sense? And then you have 3 people tell you, absolutely, I would do the same thing, or yes, you're on the right track, or maybe just think of this, but everything else looks good. Like sometimes you just need that. It's like if you're not working in an office with other colleagues around, it can feel so hard to like, you gaslight the heck out of yourself.
Yeah, I agree with this. And I mean, we've told this story before, but that is, like you said, how the collaborative started. And I think a lot of the times we do see people who, they're I almost said clients. Oh my God, members who are someone else dropping comments and client stories and things into the collaborative to ask for feedback. And I would say the biggest piece of advice that we give to people and that other practitioners are giving to other members are, you're doing all the right things, but you just need to wait. Because there is such that temptation when you're not getting that feedback to just want to do more if your client isn't seeing progress right away or as fast as they think, right? So that I think can be such a valuable thing to say, to understand as a practitioner, to get that feedback, right? Of, hey, like you are doing all the right things and you don't need to add anything. You just need to coach this person and tell them that they need to be patient and what to expect and when they need to when they can, kind of around the time they can expect those things by, right? To like, which is usually some type of relief, whether it's diarrhea, constipation, period problems, whatever. So
Not to mention, when you tell your clients that you are a part of something like this, they love it
yes.
because one, like I have clients now who say, "Hey, can you ask your collaborative? Like, I know this isn't your scope. Can you ask about it?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Like, I'll throw it in there. Like, what harm does it do to me? Like, I can get you a referral, or I can tell you who you need to go talk to." Like I just had one about a client with dry eye, and I had I don't know, like a dozen plus comments on that thread with ideas for her and who to call, who to look for and what to do. And it's amazing. And I think clients love that because they feel like, oh, this is like, she has support too, which then means I have more support.
Yeah, I've actually had clients comment on their feedback forms or on their MSQ or like, why did they sign up with me? And people love that I have a network of practitioners to bounce ideas off of. They love it. So I think Brandy and a couple of other of our members have used that as selling points, and their clients love it. They eat it up. So yeah, it definitely, if you don't have a community of like-minded practitioners, I think the other part of that too, before I go into like a closing statement about that, is, when you do things differently, it can be really isolating just to be like really sticking it to the man kind of situation with conventional. I mean, and we're not anti-conventional medicine, but I mean, you've had so many experiences, Laura, and you're going through right now just with trying to get lab work for like simple, what we think is simple lab work, insulin, B12, vitamin D, and you're getting so much pushback and I need your whole note and why do you need this and blah, blah, blah. And it can be really difficult to and start to feel really lonely when you are doing things differently. So having people who keep telling you like, no, like we're doing things the right way, like our people see results, whatever, I think can be really, really valuable. Not to even mention, like we started this episode with all of the expert guest lectures and education that's being given. It's a freaking no-brainer. So if you're on the fence, hop off.
Yeah. Join us.
Join us in the chaos, will you?
I mean, there's a million tools that
Yeah.
you can use, but I think if you're just looking like what are the ones that will move the needle most for you, I think those are the ones that I don't know that I'd how to operate without most of them.
Yeah. Do we want to give a little preview for people of what's coming up in the collaborative in January? guest speakers or events or anything to maybe
know, do we?
incentivize? I don't know. I'm like, we have like a couple minutes here. So we have, yeah, let's tell people. We have Michelle Shapiro coming to talk about histamine and mast cell activation syndrome. She's a registered dietitian and super, super smarty. And then Dr. Kat Height, she is a functional medicine practitioner. She's a chiropractor by trade. She's coming to talk to us also in January. So we have 2 guest speakers in January, all about genetics from a functional perspective. And then at the very beginning of February, I'll throw this in here too, Dr. Stacy Whitman is coming to talk about oral health and airway and functional dentistry. So the beginning of the year is going off with a bang, and we are super stoked about it. So if you are interested, click the link in our bio and come join us. Until next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
Bye.